Backyard, my YouTube channel. Hope you will subscribe right now. Maybe click the like button if you like these kinds of videos where I bring you along, share my approach to horticulture, permaculture, vermiculture, and all the rest. Let's go into my bunny sanctuary and say hi to the bunnies. It's been raining like crazy, so I put a tarp over the front. Hey, Thumper. How you doing, buddy? Doing okay? So turf production is up. Got a little flooded down there. Hello, Penelope. How are you? See, the bunny run is looking quite good. My Persian mulberry is going off. Got trimmed by the bunnies a little bit. Fig tree just provides the perfect shelf. Look at how it is beautiful, and it's getting loaded with figs. I mean, you know, I can't complain really. Everywhere you look, you see figs. So that bonanza is about to begin. Of course, the worm farm's doing well. See if we can sneak up on any worms. I hear them in there. There's a lot of them. I chose a few things to plant in the rabbit cage, and they're all doing well. Clover, I just planted a little bit of that. I have lemongrass, red sugarcane, mulberry, ever-bearing mulberry growing. And I noticed around this brown turkey fig tree that there are a lot of suckers, so I'm going to transplant some of those into pots. They usually have roots around them. Look at this. Yeah. Look at this. One fell. Yeah, this is where they're setting their final mangoes. They're still drop off. You can see there's several on the ground. That's a natural process. They'll end up setting, you know, 2, maybe 3 on a hand. You can see once they get down to that fewer amount, they start to really get big. You can hear them dropping. Sometimes you hear them dropping on the house. It's like Easter eggs all over the lawn. But they're all this kind of size. We just generally just collect them up and then chuck them in the compost bin, which, by the way, these are great compost bins. I might make a third one. $15 a piece at Lowe's. Just took animal cage wire and made a hoop, and it's been fantastic. But look at this. The rabbit manure, the worm tea. I've been hitting this thing like crazy. This is a Tommy Atkins mango, and as you can see, there's so many mangoes on this thing this year that it is almost touching the ground. There's a lot of mangoes up top too. The Edward mango, which has had a problem setting fruit every year, finally has a decent sized mango on there. I don't know if it's going to stay on there, but we're going to be watching it. Of course, the Suriname cherry just continues to fire with all cylinders. So many. Beautiful cherries. And then the beautiful Hayden mango tree. There's some low hangers on this one you can come up and check out. Oh, this is the best flavored mango in my opinion. Look at how big it is already. Whew, man. And there are just mangoes everywhere on this thing. That's what I like to see. Mango Madness 2021. Best year ever. Looks like the Hawaiian papaya trees are also doing okay. Now, I did recently chop down a banana grove. I'll go ahead and show you a banana flower, fresh banana flower. I've been having a lot of success growing dill, Ducat dill. The rabbits love the dill. Absolutely love the dill. So this is like rabbit candy. So I've grown many pots. I just grabbed these on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to get this type. They love the basil too. Of course, these are all super easy to grow. This is purslane. This is deer's paw. We call that. It's a native edible. Wherever I see those growing, I let them grow. You can see they're growing in a few of the pots. But this dill has been a real successful grower. In fact, I've grown it even in the beds. I had luck. Bugs don't seem to get on it much. This is okra. I'm going to actually go ahead and try that one. Wow. That is really good. This is a really easy way to grow okra, which is just to throw 4 seeds in a pot. And then you eat the vegetable or whatever as soon as it comes off. And this is when they're just absolutely delicious. If you wait for them to get too big, they get kind of woody. But they're so good that way. So yeah, lots of dill. One of my other favorites, of course, the mammoth sunflower. Sunflower is one of the easiest possible things to grow in the world, and I've got a bunch of them. I usually plant them in groups like this. I plant them from seed. They're usually very vigorous. About the sum total of problems is that they'll sometimes get so heavy they lean down to the ground, at which point you just stake them up temporarily. Easy fix. These are actually kind of short for mammoth sunflowers in my opinion. The ones in the back seem more like what I'm used to, maybe even bigger. And I've been really enjoying, if you've been following the channel, you know I've been transitioning the south end of my yard into an edible paradise, and holy moly is it just turbocharged by all the cool things I'm doing with permaculture. Look at how lush and green this is. I hope I'm inspiring you to maybe add more edibility to your backyard, your front yard, your apartment, your balcony. Most of this stuff here is pretty easy to grow if you know a few basic things about, you know, what to give it for nutrients and so on and so forth. This is part of the What You Got Grown On series that I had for a while. Now, most of the plants I grew in that series I planted in the yard. Like this is one of them. This Jamaican cherry tree. It's one of the 2 Jamaican cherries that I grew from seed in the What You Got Grown On series. And look at how big this thing got. Just gigantic. It has these sticky, fragrant leaves on it. It's such a wonderful tree. And the wood can be used to smoke meats. And you can see it's doing very well. I've been raining rabbit manure down on it and worm cheese, so you know it has no choice but to do well. And you can see I've got little okras planted here and there along the border, just snuck in there. Bunch of different types of fig trees this year. I've got four varieties of figs. And by the way, Jack and I are going to start experimenting with grafting, so stay tuned for those videos. Let me know in the comments if you are into that kind of thing. Expanded my Croton collection this year. So happy I did it. Got those throughout. Red sugarcane, Areca palm clump, new one, red hibiscus, green sugarcane. I love this vertical tower growing. That's really coming into its element now. Planted that not too long ago. Grapefruit tree I planted is doing exactly what I thought it might do, which is dropping most of its leaves, kind of struggling to move upward, but still moving upward, and setting enough leaves to live. But now it's gotten real. All the leaves that came with it in the department store are gone. Those days are over. The hothouse grapefruit tree is now on its own beachside in Central Florida and dealing with the reality, and it gets these kind of gnarled, gangled leaves, and you know the root ball was partially underdeveloped when I planted it, so I really botched that. But look, it's set 2 grapefruits. Grapefruit is so hardy and such a strong grower that it'll grow through all that, which is why I got it. That's a ruby red grapefruit. So another look at the south end of my yard. All the Cavendish bananas are growing very well, and you can see more of those mammoth sunflowers. One of the cool heirloom varieties of tomatoes that I got from Suzanne over at Funky Chicken's Farms, I trained up this pole, and it is doing absolutely fantastic. Tons of tomatoes. I don't know if you can see, there are some ripe ones back in there. And little did I know, carrots grow really, really well in Florida. I'm going to do a video about growing carrots. I grew these micro carrots, and I realized, I thought they was just going to grow them for the greens and the carrots would be nothing. The carrots are nice little fat little baby carrots that you get from growing these microgreens. So I just threw a ton of seeds in here, and they've grown like weeds, literally, and seem to have no bug problems whatsoever. So I'm stoked on that. And I grow them in pots as well. Of course, the rabbits love that. This is another one of those red beets. Doing very well. Now look at this pigeon pea. I did a great video on pigeon peas. It's been pretty popular. You should check that out. And this was one of the first pigeon peas I planted. My friend Ben gave it to me when I was checking out his food forest. And I planted it, and holy moly, has it gotten huge. It's thrown out tons of side shoots. And I had to train it to this pole because it wanted to kind of lean down, but the trunk is already nice and thick. I mean, it just is powering straight up for the sun. And I've got a couple other pigeon peas, one over here, right there, some more back in here. I've got one right here, as you can see. So lots of pigeon pea goodness happening. These are all dwarf Cavendish bananas, so it's not going to be a problem for shading out this corner. I want all this south sun to make it into the yard, so I've tried to keep it low. This is the one exception. I've got a Musa banana right here. You can see it's a big one. And a little pup that grow off it here, but I'm just going to keep it kind of under control. It's kind of a soft one. Ooh, that's a good one. And here's another Persian mulberry I just kind of threw here. Also grew that in the series. It's doing pretty well. This is kind of a partial sunspot, so not getting a lot of sun. This is a carambola starfruit seedling that I've grown from seed, and it was getting full sun, but it was too much, so I planted it back here. I think it'll thrive. All of the new, this is my new grove here, my new fruit grove. I planted a bunch of trees. I planted a lime tree, a dwarf coconut tree, a giant fig tree, an orange tree, a strawberry tree, and a tamarind tree. So a whole, and I transplanted a banana grove there, but all of these are now starting to shoot new growth out. Certainly the cherry tree. That's the thing. The cherry trees generally don't give you much fruit until year 2. That's why that cherry tree you saw over by the fence there didn't have any fruit really, but this one I bought was older and has fruit setting on it. Already there's fruit all over it. Kind of a cool benefit of buying a year 2 tree. I had a lot of success growing them from seeds this year, so I kind of surprised myself with that. Very pretty flower on the Jamaican cherry, Montingia tree. Now here's something that's a brand new treat in my yard, and that is the tamarind tree. And look at the beautiful flowers on the tamarind. Is that incredible? I'm hoping I'll set some fruit this year. Hard to say. It's a little tree, and it's been shooting at even more flower buds, which surprised me very much. We'll see if it sets any fruit. You can see it's got a little fruit it wants to set there, but only time will tell. I'm just going to let whatever happens, happens, but this is an experimental tree for me. Well, yeah, this whole area here is going to kind of grow in together and be a canopy like it is down here. This was a replant of an area where I used to have a loquat and some other things, a fig tree here at one point, but now I've moved on to all new things. Everything you see here is a new species, with the exception of the strawberry tree. Everything else is a new tree for me in my yard, which I think is a really cool way to approach gardening, is to keep it new. And one of the new things that we're going to try for sure is this grafting thing. Jack and I are very curious about that. I'm actually buying some grafting tape off Amazon tonight. We're going to start grafting. So I've got friends that have many different kinds of mango trees who would be willing to give me cuttings. And so I'm going to do some grafting to one of my strongest mango producing trees, which is this Tommy Atkins. Thing is, I want to wait for the fruit to come off of it and graft it after I get the fruit on there. It usually has a growth spurt after that. And I'm going to graft on, hoping to get rosy gold, maybe a Namdok Mai, maybe a few other things, and get to grafting like crazy on this beautiful, beautiful Tommy Atkins tree. Hopefully get all kinds of different fruits on this one root stock, which is a very hardy mango tree. If I can get different varieties and get the grafting thing down, I'm going to be killing it with mango. So that's an exciting new, like, next level. I still have not ran out of things to learn or get excited about in gardening. And I don't know if that's the way it is for you, but let me know in the comments. Geez, as I come down here and look at what the corner of this yard has become in the short amount of time that I've started to focus on it, I am pleased. Abundance for sure. So besides all the things I mentioned in the video so far, another key focus of this year has been watering. So usually I'll have a hose on the ground with a water wand, and we're watering all over the place all the time. You know, strategic times of the day, certain things, etc. But not overwatering, but watering enough that the plants have enough to thrive. And if you don't give them enough water, especially fruit trees and plants, vegetables, you know, they just don't have anything to live with. So you got to feed them. But we've been actively doing that this year, so we're not letting anything become dry. And also putting lots of organics and water holding materials back into the soil. Totally embraced chop and drop, you know, organics return practices in my yard, composting, all of that. So now that I'm putting those things back in the yard, I look at all the plant matter that I see as fuel for the yard as opposed to some annoying thing. And I've actually so far put out almost no yard waste. Interesting thing about composting I've discovered, so I can take off the leaves. It's kind of a relaxing thing to do off of most of the things I cut, and I'll get down to this core amount of branches that I just throw in a pile. And I figured, well, when I get a yard waste can full, I'll bring it back here and load it up, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I just keep loading up these compost bins. Like, look at this, got Dracaena and Robolini and mangoes and sugar cane and sable palm stuff, but it just keeps compressing and compressing and compressing. And if I've lifted up the middle of this and looked down in there, and it's just this rich, delicious smelling soil. So lots of goodness in the near future. Now, one last thing, yeah, I'm redoing this corner here. This is going to be something new. If you have ideas, let me know. But I think I might buy some actual better edging. Get rid of this white stuff. Alright, well, thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard. If you like these kinds of videos, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know what you think. Have a great day.